Superheroes have always been a concept of fiction since the beginning of humanity. Now we get excitement and enjoyment of hearing stories of these fantastical people solving problems and making the world a better place. But when it comes to modern times, really there's no icon that is more prominent than the Man of Steel himself, Superman. Alright, I believe Superman is the perfect example of how you should write a hero. So in this video, I'm going to make it my mission to show you exactly why. Now off rip, I'm going to let you know I'm a Superman fan, but he's not my favorite hero. For real, he's not even in my top 5. But that's not the point. The point is why he's the best example. So what I'm going to do right now is go straight into the first reason. And the first reason why is because he's the definitive symbol of peace. Now, the symbol of peace character trope is heavily shown in many fictional stories. I mean, you got My Hero with All Might, you got Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, Optimus Prime, Goku, Captain America. I mean, the list goes on. But going back to All Might, it's a reason people compare him to Superman. Yeah, he has a super strong presence, which is there, and he's the number one hero, so you know when he steps in, is getting down to business. But also, you also feel safe, you also feel secure, and he keeps the balance. As long as All Might is around, the peace is secured. Now think of Superman. In Justice League, he's the strongest member, but not only that, he's practically the strongest person in DC. So you know, no villain is about to do anything reckless. Well, it's comics, so they always do something reckless. But at the same time, nobody's doing anything stupid if Superman is around. As soon as Superman disappears, off rip, every supervillain just starts to go haywire. And counter to that, we live in an era where superheroes and comic book characters are like the mainstream of everything. So much so that we're honestly getting tired of it. That's when shows like The Boys, Invincible come out. And the reason that's important is because those shows give us the false symbols of peace. I mean, even DC is starting to do it with things like Injustice and Ultraman. But we got characters like Omni-Man and Homelander, which are part of the most popular shows out right now. Those characters are heavily reminiscent of Superman. But what makes those characters so cool and so iconic is because they have all the power of Superman and no one can stop them. When it comes to those almost too good to be true heroes, we have people like Captain America and Spider-Man. And yeah, they're great, but really they just get their morals derived from what was already given to us by Superman. And what makes it even more prevalent is Superman is at the top of the top. Spider-Man, he's great, but he's not the most imposing hero. Whereas Superman, he is the definitive peak. And that brings me to reason number 2. Superman is the example of how a hero should be. Every other hero in DC, they have to look up to Superman. Literally because he's flying, but also because he is so powerful and he sets such a high standard. They're like, wow, if that guy can do these things, we can too. Not only is he an example for the other heroes, but he's also an example for us, the audience. As we see Superman or characters like him, we're able to understand the world around him and kind of justify or kind of come up with our own reasoning for like, okay, this is how the world is set up. He's the definitive peak. Who matches that and where does everyone else fall in line? And with that, that takes me to my final reason, which is that Superman balances and scales the world. So yes, not only does Superman balance the DC universe that he's in, but he also balances kind of other superhero fiction. Whenever we see Superman or characters that are relatively as strong as him, we automatically say, okay, where does he compare to Superman? Now, the most popular debate when it comes to this is definitely Goku. Goku is, if you don't know, which you do, but I'm going to explain it anyway. Goku is the main character from Dragon Ball Z. Now, a lot of people, like to put him in the same category as Superman. They have a lot of similarities. They're both super good people, and they're both the strongest in the universe. So oftentimes, especially if you go on YouTube, there's thousands of videos or thousands of posts about who's stronger, Superman or Goku. And it makes sense because as an audience, we want to engage and see where our heroes scale within their world. But we know where Superman scales within the DC universe. He's at the top of the hierarchy. But how does he scale with other fandoms and other characters? Now, you can even throw characters like Saitama in there, or again, Homelander, Omni-Man. You see those a lot. But that's the point. Superman balances not only his world, but other worlds. He's like the definitive blueprint. When you want to compare something to how strong it is, you throw in Superman. So pretty much what I'm trying to get at is that Superman is the blueprint. But when you add up all these things together, the fact that he's a symbol of peace, the example for other heroes, and he helps balance and scale the world, it's really hard to deny that Superman really is just the peak hero. He's the best hero, the greatest of them all. I mean, quite simply put, he's the world's finest.